What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me for this first ever episode of Doubtful Conversations. I am your host, Tyler Ferguson. I am a pastor, a parent, and a Christian apologist. And this channel is committed to responding to your doubt, walking with you through your doubts about your Christianity in the same way that I would with someone in one of my apologetics classes, someone in the church that I'm a pastor at, or even with my own children. Today's episode, we are going to talk about how pastors and apologists oftentimes get the doubt issue wrong. I chose this as the first episode of this channel because not only does it illustrate kind of the how both of those sides, Christian apologist and pastor, sometimes get the doubt question wrong, but it also conveys my heart behind why I started this channel in the first place. So this is going to be one of several videos that we'll do over the course of this channel that are going to be shorter in length, so you can listen to it on your 15-minute commute home and not have to split it up a long time. But we're going to do a lot of other kinds of videos too. So you'll see response videos that I do to other videos that have been posted on YouTube from people who have walked away from their faith or who have doubted, and we can learn from their experience. We'll also interview experts in their fields to help you deal with your questions. But again, today, I want to take just a few minutes and share with you about where I think pastors and apologists have gotten the doubt question wrong. So let's start with how the church has dealt with doubt traditionally and historically. If you have been in the church for any amount of time, you've doubted your Christian faith, then you have probably done one of two things with that doubt. You have either gone to someone in the church and brought that to them, maybe a pastor or a leader, and you've been responded to in a certain way. Now, hopefully you've been responded to well. Hopefully your doubt has been taken seriously. Hopefully those people have walked with you. But I've heard so many stories of people bringing their doubt to a pastor or a leader and getting a response that basically says, you're wrong for doubting, you shouldn't be asking these questions, you need to pray harder, read the Bible more, or just have faith. That is not helpful, is it? It's not helpful, and honestly, it hurts when our doubt is not taken seriously. If that's you, if your doubt has been responded to in that way, first of all, I just want to apologize to you that that's been your experience. I take your doubt seriously. I want you to know that. And if you have people in your life who are constantly dismissing your doubt and whatnot, then try to find people who won't do that, leaders, pastors who won't do that, because you don't have to have your doubt dismissed. But here's what happens, and I don't want to be too hard on pastors here. I am a pastor, and I want to be fair to pastors by saying this. Being a pastor means that first and foremost, my responsibility, the responsibility of a pastor, is to help care for the souls of the people in their congregations, right? And a lot of times what that means is not really getting too into the intellectual heady stuff like answering questions and whatnot. But a lot of times what that means is caring for hurts and pain and wounds that exist. And that's good. We need to do that. In fact, I'm sure we'll have future episodes on the role that pain and hurt and wounds play in our doubt. Those play a huge role in kind of entering into seasons of doubt. However, when the focus is so much on that kind of stuff, sometimes we can inadvertently and unknowingly forget to answer that people deserve answers to their questions, right? And so if you're a pastor and you're watching this, I would just like to encourage you that you can do both of those things, right? You can care for people emotionally, and you can also take their questions that they have about their faith seriously. Look, we want people as pastors to have an informed faith. I don't want you to simply believe something because you've heard it's true. I don't want you to even believe something because you've had an experience, although that experience is very valuable. I want you to believe something because you really, truly believe that it is true, right? I want you to be a Christian because you embrace the truth of the Christian worldview. And so, again, that's where kind of pastors can tend to sometimes err when it comes to helping people walk through their doubts. Now, I will say, for every pastor that struggles with that, there are others who don't struggle with that at all. I have wonderful pastors who have listened to me, who have walked with me, and who, quite frankly, I've never felt like my doubts or my questions have been dismissed. But I know many of you have had that experience, and so I am here. This channel is here to help provide you a place to where your questions are actually going to be answered and not dismissed with some statement like just have faith or just read the Bible more. Because come on, we know that doesn't really work that way, does it? So that's kind of where pastors have gotten this wrong. Where have apologists gotten this wrong? Now, most people in the apologetics world think that Christian apologists are like God's gift to the Christian doubter, right? Like you can go to the Christian apologist, you can go into apologetics communities and have all your questions answered. Well, yes and no. First of all, there tends to be a level of arrogance in Christian apologetics that says we can get you every answer you need. But here's the thing about not just Christianity, but anything that we consider to be true. I can't answer all of your questions, nor can anyone else. And anyone who claims that all of your questions can be answered is either misleading you or they're just ignorant of the fact, and I use that term with all due respect, but they're just ignorant of the fact that you can't have all of your questions answered, okay? And so that's one area where Christian apologetics kind of gets this doubt thing wrong, is we make these promises that we just simply can't fulfill. And so on this channel, I am not going to answer all of your questions. Why? Because I can't answer all of your questions. Neither can anyone else. However, for every question we can't answer, there are 10 questions we can answer. And so we're going to try to provide you with all of the answers that we possibly can while still acknowledging that, hey, it's faith. It's faith. And sometimes faith requires that we fill in the gaps and say, I don't know the answers to these things, but what I do know is that Jesus loves me. Jesus died for my sins. Jesus was resurrected. And based on those things, I'm a Christian. The other place where Christian apologetics has failed the doubter, and I'm going to get on a high horse for a minute because I think that this is probably one of the most significant ways that doubters are disserviced in the Christian community. Christian apologetics focuses so much. Now, I'm not talking about everyone. There's scholars like Mike Licona and whatnot who focus on the resurrection and these really, really core issues of Christianity, right? But overall, Christian apologetics has made the major mistake, in my opinion, of focusing so much on secondary issues like evolution, like age of the earth, things like that, that they have given the impression that unless you agree with a certain perspective on one of those secondary issues, man, it's an uphill battle for you to even be a Christian. Now, most apologists wouldn't come out and say that outright. However, the amount of time that Christian apologists tend to spend defending their view of creation or their view of the age of the earth, for example, implies that those are some of the most important issues we could possibly talk about in the church today. And so if you're watching this and maybe you're struggling with doubt because you say, on one hand, like, I really firmly believe in the resurrection, I love Jesus, all of that, and yet you say, but I've got a different opinion on age of the earth or on evolution or whatnot, and I mean, all of these people talk about how important those issues are, and so I don't know if I can be a Christian with that. Let me tell you, you can be a Christian. You can be a Christian because some of these secondary issues, there are legitimate, honest, perspectives that vary across the board within not just Christianity, but even conservative evangelical Christianity. Okay, so some of those issues aren't as clear cut as we would like them to be, and yet Christian apologetics can tend to put out the impression that you have to side on one side or the other on this issue, on these specific issues, or being a Christian is an uphill battle for you. And I just want you to know from an apologist, that is not true. And so we're going to talk about a lot of those issues on this channel to help you get to a place where those issues you can question and you can doubt, but those issues are never going to lead you away from your faith because they don't have to. So when I say that I am going to talk to you about your doubts from the perspective of a pastor and an apologist, my goal is to take the best of both of those and apply those things to your doubt. I won't always get it right. Sometimes I'm going to err too much on the side of caring for pain and addressing the hurts and whatnot, and I may not give you the answers that you need. Or sometimes I might focus so much on giving you the answers you need that I neglect the other side. But my hope is that I can take the best that pastoral care has to offer and the best that Christian apologetics has to offer, package those two things together and talk with you about your doubt so that we can walk through those things together. I struggle with doubt too. And so my goal from my life is to seek out people who can help me with both sides of those, with the best of both worlds there. And I just hope to pass that same thing on to you. Now, one last note. I also come to you as a parent. I've got 4 daughters at the time of this recording. They're all under the age of 10. And one day, my daughters are going to come to me with their questions and with their doubts. And I'm committed as a dad to not shying away from those conversations and not demonizing them, not making them feel like there's something wrong with them, but rather celebrating those questions as they point to the fact that they're beginning to own their faith, and it's an exciting time. And I'm excited to be able to dig into books with them, dig into questions with them, and explore some of these issues together and help them take ownership of their faith. And that is what I want to help you with too. I don't demonize you. I don't look negatively upon you because you're doubting. I want to walk with you. And so I hope that you will join me. Again, this video is a little different, has been a little different from what you're going to get on this channel. I'm working on a video right now that we'll post in the next few days that is an interview or rather a response to someone who struggled with doubt, with scientific doubt, but they came out on the side of being closer to Jesus. And we're going to look at his story and figure out how in the world can we do the same thing? How can we let our doubt lead to that place? So we're going to talk about some very practical stuff. I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of set this channel up for you and show you, tell you what you can expect. So if you're doubting, if you're struggling with doubts, Doubtful Conversations is the place for you.